Human beings have developed their technology to the point of turning it into a tool to dominate nature. Thanks to this, today we can travel enormous distances, fly through the skies, and even dive into the depths of the sea as if we were fish. Nothing escapes our possibilities, although sometimes truly mysterious situations occur to remind us that we are vulnerable, very vulnerable. Sometimes planes crash, trains collide, and submarines disappear in the depths of the sea without anyone being able to do anything about it. Their stories surprise us every day, although some of them represent such great mysteries that even if time goes by, they still leave us with 1,000 questions in our heads. Such is the case of these 5 submarines that mysteriously disappeared, and if you join us in today's video, you too will discover that technology does not protect us from the force of nature. Ready? Then it's time to get started. Number 5. INS Dakar. The Israeli Navy has an unsolved story that continues to stain its books and its memory every year. It's the disappearance of the submarine INS Dakar, a British-built submarine that was part of the Navy during World War II. The INS Dakar was in Israel's military service for a couple of decades until January 25, 1968. When it was sent on a mission that, unfortunately, had no return. The disappearance of the submarine, along with the 69 crew members on board, remained a mystery for more than 31 years, until its wreckage was found on the islands of Cyprus and Crete in 1999. Most of the submarine was still partially intact, despite being buried 3,000 meters below the sea. Nowadays, it's on display at the Clandestine Immigration and Naval Museum in Haifa. However, the case of its disappearance hasn't yet been solved. The submarine showed no signs of having suffered an attack and didn't appear to have been damaged at all. It's completely unknown what could have happened to bring it to such a fateful end, although some believe that the submarine was cursed from the moment it was assembled in the UK, as all models in this series shared the same fate, disappearing at the bottom of the sea. Number 4. Submarine Minerv. 2 days before the INS Dakar disappeared for 31 years, the submarine Minerv, belonging to the French Navy, was returning to its home port in Toulon. However, perhaps by chance or fate, the submarine and its crew did not make it to port. For decades, there have been attempts to find out why, or to find some clue to decipher what happened to the submarine. According to the records of the time, stormy weather may have been one of the main reasons that led to its fateful end, but the reasons are still unclear. Some believe that the culprit for this mystery lies in the terrifying creatures at the bottom of the sea, as this area is characterized by strange apparitions of creepy sea beasts, but most rule out this as the reason. Still, surprisingly, in 2019, after 50 years of disappearing, the Minerv submarine emerged from the seabed. Its remains were found 45 kilometers south of Toulon, a distance so close that it hurts, especially for the sailors who mourn its untimely end. Even so, many are still wondering what could have happened to cause the submarine to sink in the darkness of the sea without return. The area isn't particularly complicated, and the weather doesn't usually generate so many setbacks when sailing. So, what really happened? Was it nature attacking an intruder? Was there an outside entity? Apparently, we will never know. Number 3. Submarine K129. The Soviet Navy also had its own entry in the list of missing submarines in 1968. In their case, it's the K129 submarine, a powerful machine that served the Soviet Navy's Pacific Fleet during that year. Its captain was Vladimir Kobzar, and its hull number was 722. It was assigned to the Ryba Naval Base, and its disappearance was one of the greatest tensions experienced during the Cold War. The Soviet government took this fact as a possible threat to its troops. After all, the K129 submarine had the mission to patrol the Pacific area and open fire at any threat. Was it possible that it had been sunk by an enemy attack? There were several reasons to think so, and this caused the Soviet Union to redouble its military actions of patrolling and confrontation in the Pacific Ocean. In addition, this promoted the deployment of air and warships in this maritime area, as it was feared that new attacks would weaken the Soviet Navy. To the surprise of the international community, it was the Americans themselves who managed to obtain the exact coordinates of the wreck of the submarine in August of that year. But it wasn't until 1974 that they managed to extract a small part of the submarine, as it was submerged at a depth of 16,000 feet. Number 2. USS Scorpion. One of the last submarines of the series created by the United Kingdom that mysteriously disappeared in 1968 was the USS Scorpion, a powerful nuclear-powered vessel that served in the US Navy, but not for long. In this case, the Scorpion was the last of the 68 submarines to disappear. It occurred on May 22nd, a few months after the Soviet submarine suffered the same fate. It only added to the tension between the two blocs in the midst of the Cold War, as it was seen as a reprisal for the alleged attack by the United States. However, the disappearance of the Scorpion submarine was indeed suspicious. First of all, there are records revealing an attempt to communicate with the naval station as early as midnight on May 20. The US did not receive such communications, but rather the Greek Navy was the one who relayed the message to them. The last message from the submarine reported that a Soviet submarine was approaching at a speed of 28 kilometers per hour and a depth of 110 meters. After that message, the Scorpion was expected to arrive in Norfolk Harbor on May 27, but this didn't happen. The search for the submarine and its crew began from then on. 55 ships and 35 aircraft tried to track the location of the submarine for several days, but all to no avail. It wasn't until October of that year that the body of the submarine was finally discovered 740 kilometers southeast of the Azores and submerged more than 3,000 meters underwater. It was never revealed whether it showed torpedo attacks or any signs of combat. The United States remains silent on the matter, although many are convinced that the submarine was indeed sunk by Soviet fire. Number 1. Submarine Afraid. While it's true that the 1968 disappearances encompass the same series created by the United Kingdom, there was a mysterious event that occurred 17 years earlier but remains part of this set of submarines. It's the disappearance of the submarine HM Afraid in 1951. Like the other models lost in '68, this submarine was used for patrols and smaller-scale combat. Hours before its disappearance, the submarine's crew was tasked to conduct a routine patrol in the English Channel. The central base received its confirmation message, and after several hours, communication was cut off. After several days of efforts to try to locate or communicate with the submarine, it was considered missing, along with the rest of its crew. However, after several months, a team of divers submerged into the bowels of the channel to find the submarine HM Afraid, which was stranded hundreds of meters underwater. When they managed to extract it from the depths, the investigators were surprised. The submarine showed no structural damage, no safety equipment had been used inside, nor was there any significant damage to the technical equipment. It was as if the crew had lost control for a reason beyond any possibility of reaction. What caused this submarine to sink? Why did its crew fail to react? Why are there no traces or clues to understand this mystery? All these questions continue to haunt the heads of investigators, but even with modern technology, no conclusion has been reached. It seems that this and the rest of the mysteries surrounding this batch of submarines created by the United Kingdom only respond to a strange curse. None of the models has managed to escape catastrophe and unexplained disappearances. They were all under the same spell, and although each case is different, they share the same fate: death and destruction. Some believe that these are mere coincidences, but there is no such thing. Chance has little to do when it comes to spooky and mysterious events, and if you want to learn more about some of them, just check out the following videos. What do you think? Are you up for it? Then here you go.